fellas, welcome back to another bonus No Rules episode of Voltz Supreme's Synth VGM Dream Stream Machine podcast, the podcast that usually plays the synthiest video game music in the universe, but not today. In this episode, we're going to step away from our usual theme to explore some worlds that many, if not most, have never explored. Yes, we are bringing on my good friend Jack, who is also known as Oakie Doke, to talk about, we're going to talk about his new album, Death By Correspondence, his favorite video game tunes. We're going to talk about microtonal music, including instrument and scale creation. We're going to talk about the emerging location music genre. We're going to talk about music therapy. We're going to talk about video game covers, and we're going to talk about other things as well. Folks, this is a fantastic episode. One of my favorites so far, and that is why I'm absolutely gutted that while recording via Zencastr decided to reset my audio input device after I did a sound check and made sure everything was sounding great. So while I thought I was recording with my microphone, Zencastr was recording with my filthy, disgusting webcam. And look, I knew this episode was too good to be true. So there you go. There is one thing wrong with this episode. Folks, as you all know, I pride myself on having the crispest audio in the podcasting world. But unfortunately, this episode is lacking in that department. Thankfully, my guest sounds great, and he is the focus of the episode. So that'll pull us through. So my deepest apologies to everyone. Hopefully you just get used to it and can enjoy the excellent discussion and obviously the high quality music. Yeah. Okay. So before we bring on Jack, also known as Oakie Doke, a quick introduction. Jack is a good friend of mine. We basically know each other through our improvisational band known as Wollongong. I met Jack the day we recorded our first album, while people were drowning. It was actually, this is back in 2012. I think it was it was a bit of a disaster that day. There was maybe some minor flooding in the area while we were recording. But yeah, I met Jack that day, and since then we, or at least the band, has recorded 88 albums. Yes, you heard right. 88 albums. But we haven't been very active the last few years, so we actually haven't caught up that much. So this was a great chance to catch up. And let me give you a quick intro to Jack before we bring him on. Jack he's a composer. He plays a ton of instruments very well, but in my mind, he's an incredible guitarist. He has a extremely unique style, and he comes up with some crazy sounds using both his playing techniques and his effects pedals, whatever he can get his hands on. I often listen back to our albums that we make together, and I'm listening to the parts thinking, oh, that's my synth. And then a few minutes later, I realized that it was Jack making some crazy sounds on his guitar. That's happened more than once. But what I love most about Jack is that his skills, his theoretical knowledge, are matched by his insanity and his creativity. I have a lot of respect for this guy, his talents, and ladies and gentlemen, may I please welcome to the show the man who goes by the name of Oakie Doke. Jack, welcome to Voltz Supreme's Synth VGM Dream Stream Machine podcast. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here on the show with us. Welcome.
It is so fantastic to be here. Big fan, long-time listener, and keen to talk some music with you. Yeah,
well, I've been wanting to get you on the show for a long time. It's one of the reasons why I started this synth video game music podcast. But yeah, I don't think we're too far apart, but no. we haven't seen each other since last year, really.
Yeah.
With lockdown and just lack of musical projects that we're doing together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like it would be too easy to blame a lockdown. We've sort of eased up on the on the gig front, on the recording front, but hey, we've got at least 80 albums to talk about if we wish to.
If we wish to, yeah. Well, hopefully we can turn that into
podcast of its own in the future. But
that would be unreal.
we've got you here today we're going to talk about your new Oakie Doke album, Death by Correspondence. We're going to go through some of your, I don't know if they're your favorite video game songs, but songs that you've chosen for the podcast, and a few other little exciting and interesting projects that you're working on. We're going to get some little samples of them. So maybe before we hit our first track, why don't you just give us a little introduction to yourself?
Okay, cool. I can do that. I can absolutely do that. So my name is Oakie Doke. I do have a real name, but I've since changed Jack blank last name to Oakie Doke since I began working in schools, because although everyone is cool, those students, they're just too damn good with technology, and I don't want them finding me on Facebook. I don't need that in my life. So it's going by Oakie Doke, and doing a lot of collaborative projects. We mentioned the Death by Correspondence album. That's actually coming out 15th of September. So maybe by the time this podcast is out, it will have already been released. But that was actually made as a collaborative kind of lockdown project between myself and Michael Manzini of the world-famous band Wollongong.
Amazing.
You know a lot about.
I sure do. Well, yeah. Okay, I'll try to refer to you from now on as Oakie.
You can call me Jack. I don't mind. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask later on, actually, what the difference is between Oakie Doke and your Jack blank solo music, but you've just explained that, so...
Yeah, well, I don't mind saying it's Jack. Yeah, my name's Jack Tickner. I'm just going by Oakie Doke now as of, as a privacy thing. It's just lots of kids who are good at the internet, and, I want to stay away from them.
That is completely understandable. All right, well, we've got a lot to talk about, but we've also got some cool tracks that we're going to play. Would you mind introducing us to this first track that you've chosen?
Truth be told, never played a single Kirby game in my life. However, I selected this one because I found out that it is freaking microtonal, which happens to be a big interest of mine. So they programmed this song to have quarter tones in it. It adds a very interesting a bit of coloration to the track, and I just think it's mind-blowing that they were programming this into these really, really quite primitive devices way back when. So yeah, enjoy.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Trees in the Depths of the Earth from Kirby Superstar by Jun Ishikawa and Dan Miyakawa. Yeah, that was a fantastic, very interesting song.
Yeah, it's just such a blowout. Like how, these people stumbling on this stuff in very early video game music. It's very clever.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of some of the old Bomberman music that has these kind of Arabic influences and stuff like that. Very cool, very interesting to hear stuff like this in some of the earlier kind of video game soundtracks that really start experimenting pretty early on.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really impresses me about your work is that it seems like, at least for the last maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, you've been diving into the world of I don't even know how to say it, microtonal music and instruments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is, for a lot of people who listen to music, and even people who play music, that is a world that people don't even know about. The idea of that a scale might consist of not every good boy deserves fruit. Things outside of that is mind-blowing. And so, yeah, I don't know much about it myself either. So, I'd love to hear how you got into microtonal music and what are some of the projects that's come out of that.
Yeah, so I got into microtonal music during my second last year of uni. My teacher, Terumi Narashima, she's a fantastic microtonal composer, and her partner, Craig Grady from LA, now living in Australia, another renowned microtonal composer. And they sort of gave a short kind of 1 hour lecture about microtones, and Craig brought in some of his instruments because he makes his own instruments, and they're sort of in like, see, I don't even really remember what tuning they were in, but there was something like 17 tones an octave, and then Craig blew us all away by being able to sing up a 31 tone octave in different separations, so like ooh, all equally divided.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, it just sounds like a theremin.
That actually blows my mind a bit, because it's one thing, having the scale in front of you in the form of an instrument that you can just play, and it's another thing to actually get that in your brain and be able to transfer that to voice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a lot of people ask me, like, is it hard to sing to microtonal music? It tends not to be. It tends to actually be pretty, because the voice is just naturally so adaptable. And I've really kind of thrown myself into this concept lately of, I think who was the theorist? There was a Harry Partch was his name, and Harry Partch stated, the voice is never out of tune. It's only the instruments around it. So, with that,
you've really hung on to that, haven't you?
See, well, the shoe fits, so I like that because I don't have to change much about myself. But so through that theoretical framework, he created like all of this music, all of these scales, kind of based on the human voice and just the way that we might sing a sharper third or a flatter third and stuff like that. So I had this lecture with Terumi and Craig. It was fantastic. Then we had a super secret kind of tuning class over the summer where we met and learnt about the theories and the I guess like the practice of Irv Wilson, who was an amazing microtonal theorist slash. What's interesting is he didn't really compose any music, but he just he created a lot of different scales. So we kind of learnt his way of designing his own tuning systems. And then from that point on, I went straight to what's it called? The Hock Shop, one of the bigger cash converters or something like that. Picked up the crappiest, most forgotten, terrible $60 guitar, and I went home. I ripped all the frets out, just using like a pair of pliers or some junk, and then I just cut it through with like some sort of pull axe. Didn't know what I was doing, just kind of had YouTube open, was just hacking into it, and then made my own microtonal guitar. And since then, I've just been absolutely obsessed. And this sort of brings us to this idea I had recently when New South Wales COVID numbers were really beginning to soar. I thought, wouldn't it be an interesting idea to turn these numbers into a tuning system?
That I believe you basically titled it something like "The Sound of the Pandemic" or something like that.
The scale of the pandemic.
Scale of the pandemic. Yeah. That was brilliant. When I saw that, I thought that was just the funniest and cleverest idea at the same time. And the fact that you actually, I was really expecting something horrible, and the fact that the fact that it sounds quite good is quite mind-blowing. I guess, describe how you turn case numbers into a scale, and then we have got a sample of that track, which we'll play very soon.
Cool. Yeah, so basically the first thing to know is you can turn anything into a scale. And this is like there's certain ways where if you pick like a mathematical algorithm or like a shape, you can create these extremely sonorous, beautiful scales that are very well balanced. They make sense. You can modulate. You can pick different keys. But with this case numbers example, like there's sort of no rhyme or reason. It's just these are just people who have COVID. So basically, like I thought, why not turn it into something? See how it sounds. So I got numbers for the last 17 days because I wanted a 17 tone scale, and they are 268, 291, all the way up to 639 and 820. And I just mashed all those numbers together. I put them in a program called Scala. It's free, and then it spits out what those frequency ratios mean in like a scale, and then I export it to my MIDI synthesizer, and then I have a scale, and that's how I created the song. So
that's so good. All right, let's give that one a listen. What you just heard then was quite literally the sound of the pandemic. at least in New South Wales, Australia.
Yeah,
that was great. I think you can pretty clearly hear the difference between just your normal 12 tone and something microtonal like that. I think some things are a bit more subtle, and people might not pick up on them. I think you could definitely pick up on that. But I think that turned out really cool.
Yeah, there was some funny things. Like there ended up being I'm trying to make this as unridiculous to understand as possible, but there ended up being a perfect fifth just based on one of the numbers. So that meant like a number that's like divisible by like 6 or 3, and that ended up being in there. But you can hear lots of those really, really like infinitesimally small tones, that sort of stuff going on in there. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to just submit yourself to a parameter like that creatively, just some scale that kind of doesn't make heaps of sense, and then force yourself to work with it and try and squeeze something out of it.
All right, well, we've got some more of your favourite songs. We've got quite a special, large, broad selection right here. Why don't you introduce this next track?
Cool. So instantly when you asked me to pick out some video game songs, I thought, what songs are not necessarily the best, but the most important to me, kind of like in a nostalgic sense. So I mean, that's not to say this is more referring to the Sonic that we're going to listen to a bit later, but so we're heading into Mario Galaxy. This is the Comet Observatory theme. This was Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii fantastic game, beautiful, beautiful scenery, beautiful music. It all comes together in this fantastic way. And this is the music that plays while you're in the Comet Observatory before you enter into the worlds.
Beautiful stuff, right? Let's give it a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Comet Observatory by Koji Kondo from Super Mario Galaxy. We were discussing while I was playing. Fantastic game, fantastic soundtrack. But yeah, just quite literally beautiful, beautiful music.
Yeah, such clever arrangements. I think you really can't go wrong with any. Actually, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a single kind of Mario or Nintendo soundtrack that isn't pretty good or great.
The standards were set pretty high early on, weren't they?
Indeed.
Excellent. All right, well, we're going to move from, I guess, something extremely pleasant into something a little bit more experimental now. So I have had the privilege of getting an early copy of your Oakie Doke Death by Correspondence album that is coming out a few days after this podcast is recorded. Absolutely fantastic. There's lots of microtonal stuff throughout that we'll be able to discuss. But how about before we start playing some tracks from that album, why don't you just give us a little introduction into who or what Oakie Doke is? And I think you've already described why. Am I correct in thinking that Oakie Doke was merely just one of these random things you name yourself on Instagram and then you've just kind of stuck with it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, there's not much more to elaborate on that. I think it was 2014 I started calling myself Oakie Doke on Facebook. And then when it came time to pick a different name for my solo project, I thought, why not stick with what works? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I just changed it to Oakie Doke. Yeah.
As far as his album goes, this is not just a solo album. You do have other
absolutely.
performers and composers, or just performers?
Composers. So me and Michael Manzini both wrote and performed this. So he did the drums, all of the drums. He did all of the bass, and he added in lots of little extra tasty bits through there. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and we've obviously played with Michael in our other band, Wollongong. And Jack, I think you're going to be thrilled about this, but Michael has actually sent us in a message for you to listen to on the podcast.
Really?
If you wouldn't mind, just playing the file that I've uploaded to the drive. This is a special message that Michael has sent in to you.
Jackthing.mp3. I've never been so nervous to open a file. I feel like it's the 90s again. All right, here we go.
Hey, Jack. It's your old friend Michael here. I just wanted to wish you all the best for your appearance on the Voltz Supreme podcast today. I know it's a big deal for you.
His voice sounds so good.
You finally made it. I hope you're doing well in these trying times, in these difficult times, in these uncertain times, in these stressful times, in these worrying times, in these hard times, in these bizarre times, in these crazy times.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. That was really quite something. So what Michael did there, for the people who aren't aware, he made a reference to probably one of my favorite tracks by Duolog called In These Times. It goes for about 18 minutes. I did a little guitar solo on there, but that's just a minor detail. The entire track is great. I fully recommend sitting down, brewing a nice cuppa and listening to In These Times. Thank you for that, Michael Manzini.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Really appreciate you sending in that touching message. So with that in mind, I've chosen... with that in mind, I don't know what that means, but we've actually got some songs that I've chosen from the new album, Death By Correspondence. And the first track that I've chosen is titled Joseph. Now, I was lying in bed one night and just this thought came to my head. Joseph's your cat. Is that correct?
No. Not quite. No. My cat's name is Mo. My cat's name is Momo. But the name Joseph comes from... Wait, do you want me to dive in or should I wait till the end?
Let's play it and then we'll chat about it after.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Because it is a funny story.
Okay. This track is Joseph from the album Death By Correspondence by Oakie Doke. Oakie Doke, let's give it a listen.
Social distancing from the bathroom to the kitchen. I'll be safe at home once again. Social distancing from my friends to my family. Don't wanna see nobody ever again, never again.
Joseph by the band / solo artist Oakie Doke from the new album Death by Correspondence. I absolutely love that song. There's something, it's most definitely not a simple song, but there's definitely this kind of minimalist vibe that you get from it. Very almost, it certainly reminds me of like an Indian raga or something like that.
Yeah, cool.
It's really kind of drony, cool rhythms. Obviously some microtonal stuff in there that I don't know what's going on, but it sounds cool. The lyrics, I love the lyrics. All the lyrics in this album are quite funny.
Good.
It's a sense of humor, I guess, but I find it, I find them quite funny. But also, this is, I believe you started making this album during our first lockdown.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and here we are in our second lockdown, releasing the album, and what better time than to release
What a twist.
this?
I'm so glad that we had this second lockdown.
Yeah, I'd love to, if you could give us a few little details about that song, I'd be very interested to know some more.
Yep, sure. So, first of all, the title Joseph came from a Zoom session because I finished off my master's course over Zoom, which was, as horrible as it sounds, very challenging, very hard to stay on task, stay on track. So it was sort of like in the midst of this really heavy period where everyone in the class were all really over it, and we're all kind of coping in our own ways. And then the most amazing thing that could happen happened. And a man called Joseph entered the Zoom. and I've sent you a picture, Joel, of Joseph. He's a lovely man. He just appeared in the Zoom. He stayed there for about 30 seconds. The teacher didn't notice. I took a little screenshot, took a little picture of Joseph.
He looks like a quite elderly man.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so describe Joseph. I guess he's kind of looking off screen a little bit to the left. He's got a bit of a sage-like smile on his face, and he's understandably a bit confused about modern technology. And he was here, and then he just left. He just entered our music therapy second year class and then bailed. And Joseph gave us all a really, really good laugh and lifted our spirits so much that I thought I'd write a little song for him and call it Joseph.
That is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more interesting than cat. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe someone else has got a cat called Joseph.
Well, no, there was a Wollongong album called Ficus the Cat.
That's true.
That would be it.
Yes,
that was also about my cat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking
That was not called Ficus. Anyway, long story. That's for another podcast, maybe.
That is, yeah. So one of your many projects is Wollongong, the improvisational band, but you have quite a number of things going on. I can't keep up. Probably wouldn't be hard for me to keep up if I wanted to, but I'm always seeing these new fun things popping up that you're doing. Why don't you give us a rundown of some of the projects you work on at this present time?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I do have a lot of things going on now, particularly since work sort of went on hold because of the lockdown. I've really just sort of taken all that work time and just been working on music, which is really great. It's really, really good. Kind of complex feelings, isn't it? When the world's in chaos and everything's very difficult, but you get all this time to kind of sit and do the thing you love the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, releasing music as Oakie Doke with, by myself and with Michael Manzini. Pretty much anything you hear that comes from that name has touched Michael's hands in some way, shape, or form. Also working on stuff with Basil's Kite. That's my kind of, I guess, I don't want to say math metal. That has a very, very lame connotation. My nerdy, geeky, microtonal metal, funny, sarcastic, good times project that has been going since 2011. And then I'm also just kind of collaborating with people on the internet here and there, which is really great and something I'm going to probably continue doing even after the pandemic. So yeah, that's sort of what's going on. Oh, and also I've just begun a very, very hefty project called How Do You Like Them Towns? And and what the idea of it is that I want to create a piece of music for every single town in New South Wales. And this was sort of inspired by a guy on Spotify. If you type in the guy who sings about towns, you can find him. He's released approximately 20,000 songs. He records 20 a day.
Oh, wow.
And what he does, it's so clever. What he does is he finds out what people are typing into Spotify, and then he makes music for it. So like a lot of people type in where they live into Spotify and then of course get nothing. But now this guy does it. And he makes a living off of doing that. So I began the project wanting them just to be kind of fluffy songs, but as it went on, I just really liked making the songs. So I think a lot of them ended up taking a lot more time. Unfortunately.
And I believe you are composing these whilst live streaming the process.
Yes, thank you. I forgot about that. Yes, it's all live. So a big aspect of that is people coming in and feeding me lyrics, kind of taking the burden off of me a little bit for writing 265 songs. But yeah, people come in to chat and they have good ideas, and I never say no. I always just do it. I always just say yes. So
we've got some great examples of that we're going to play for you now. So before we jump into this first song called Bellingen, is there anything that our listeners need to know about this track before we give them a little sample?
Bell, ding, engine, room. That's all you need to know.
All right, let's jump in and give this a quick little listen.
Hello, Bellingen. Yes, hello. It is so great to be here in my favorite town. Let's go. Bellingen. Bellingen. Bell. Engine. 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 Things we like in Bellingen. Danny Deckchair. Adam Gilchrist. Hogger with no beer. Bells. Engine. Who are we? Well, of course, we are Bell. Engine. Bell. Engine. Bell.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but when I hear something like that, I cannot fathom the compositional powers that must be inside Jack to be able to come up with these songs so quickly and with such depth and really kind of really express what it is to live in this town or know about this town. I think it's to me it sounds like a pretty accurate representation of the town. I'd love to hear what people who live there think about this. When I find the whole thing, but it just ramps up so much at the end there. You'll hear it in the background.
It does really ramp up. I will say, I agree with you on that. However, when you listen to Berry, you might change your tune a bit, because all that chat was writing was that Berry was a really bad place. So we made this this really horrible, pulverizing, not fun song to listen to. But hey, I don't think anyone from Berry is gonna I don't think anyone from Berry even has Spotify, so I don't need to worry about that.
You'd be surprised. People would start getting Spotify when they hear about this project you're working on.
That's true.
How can people? So are you regularly releasing this on Spotify?
Well, I'm going to wait until I've made the full thing. Which is the full 265 songs. But people can catch it. Like I stream at the moment. I mean, until work goes back. But if all goes well, I should finish this project before work goes back. But I'm streaming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And
So that's obviously Australian times.
Yeah, Australian Eastern Standard Time from 3 p.m. till 6. So yeah, feel free to drop by and backseat songwrite. I strongly encourage it.
Yeah, and we'll put some links in the description to anything related to what we talk about today. And, yeah, I'd love for some of our American listeners to jump on and really experience what it's like to just have a taste of New South Wales Australian life. That would be great. We got one more song. Again, I don't know what to say about this except that it's just I listened to it before the podcast. Amazing stuff. Absolutely, really pulls on the heartstrings. And I can imagine that the people who live in Bogabilla would just be, I imagine that they're just going to replace their. Well, obviously, the aim of this could be, like, the ultimate result might be that every one of these towns replaces their train station.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the train station, the bus stops, the service stations, the convenience stores, kind of any place in which there is music being played. Hopefully, I can send them a link to the Spotify and they can kind of play them. Yeah, so hopefully Bogabilla loves this song about going down to the Bogabilla nightclub, having a big one, losing your Motorola phone.
Because they all still use Motorola phones in Bogabilla.
Who doesn't? I still have my Razor right with me.
All right, let's give this a listen. I need to deal with this person who's at my door.
Okay.
I dropped my iPhone in the club. I hope nobody picked it up. I'm here and I'm having fun at the Bogabilla nightclub. I dropped my iPhone in the club. Oh, I need a taxi. Calling Uber, lost my phone. Here I am in Bogabilla, all alone. Absolutely zero chill when you're in the Bogabilla. Scoop, scoop, tripping in the wobbly boot. Yeah, feeling like a habbo in the Baga Hotel. Lost my phone, now I'm saying oh well. Turn it up, Mr. DJ, let the music play. It's a Bogabilly way, dance until it's day. Oh, Bogabilla, Bogabilla, party all night. Bogabilla nightclub, feeling alright. Bogabilla, Bogabilla, party all night. Bogabilla nightclub, feeling alright. Bogabilla, Bogabilla, party all night. Bogabilla nightclub, feeling alright. Bogabilla, Bogabilla, party all night. Bogabilla nightclub, let's go! Party all night.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Bogabilla by Oakie Doke. One of the many of his town-based tracks in this massive project that he's undertaking right now.
Yeah, as of today, it's 40. I think it's 41 tracks. Hoping to break 60 by the end of today.
Wow.
Just want to get through it. Just want to get through these dang towns. They're seemingly infinite at this point. Do you know how many towns begin with the word bin?
No, you run out of bin puns after the first song.
Yeah, well, lots of bell towns. I think we did the Batlow song, and of course it was about apples, and then the Bega song was just the same song, but just replacing apples with cheese.
All the Aussies would know exactly what we're talking about right now. These are famous towns in New South Wales.
Yes, of course. Yeah, for any international listeners, Batlow is famous for its apples. Bega is very famous for its lovely, lovely cheese.
All right, well, let's jump to another video game track. why don't you bring us into this next track you've chosen?
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, Persona 5. Cool. Yeah, I picked this track because I got into this at the start of lockdown before I started doing music, and I was just playing video games nonstop. And Persona 5 is a truly weird and wonderful, amazing game. And it's got the JRPG thing where when you enter into a battle, it just plays the same song over and over again, kind of bashes you over the head with it. But luckily for Persona 5, the music is so dang good. Enjoy.
Don't you know what you're starting? But you sure we got that clue? How bad this we go? Don't you know? No more art. And as you look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you. It's not what you foretold. You never see it coming. One step and you're dead. Why just to be the second I go with blue skies, but now lightning's like your last result. It's not an accident that no one hears your cries as your last dream seems to deserve. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is the best for eyes. You're done there.
Been listening to the Persona 5 kind of battle song. When you dive into a battle, you hear this song, and that was composed by Shoji Meguro. We were just talking during the song. I think all of this stuff was live tracked, which is quite cool because if you want, you can just watch people play the music live on YouTube, like a full band, which is just kind of nice.
Oh, it's all available, like a live concert style thing you can watch.
Yeah, there's like people playing it. It's cool. It's a bit of a trip. I don't know, you sort of get used to hearing it one way and then It's hard to imagine there was actual people behind it, which is
Yeah. It's quite. It sounds like I haven't actually listened to that soundtrack, but that's quite it's a high quality track, high quality musicians and singers and stuff.
Yeah, and it's really got to be with JRPGs and the way they just play the same song over and over again. Yeah.
This certainly doesn't sound like a typical JRPG battle track, though.
No.
It does have a little bit of an epic sound to it, but to me it sounds like a 1970s American
kind of like heist film sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's sort of that's like the theme of the game, is like the whole heist thing. Just very like all the campiness turned up to 11 and all that stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, let's jump into our next track from the brand new album, Death By Correspondence by Oakie Doke.
Let's do it.
Yeah, this is the hit single, Zoom Zoom.
Zoom Zoom indeed.
If there's anyone who can't relate to the lyrics of this song, you haven't lived through a pandemic apocalypse. So, all right, this is Zoom Zoom by Oakie Doke.
Last night I dreamt about Zoom again. Thoughts of scratching my ass on screen. You've been all I can to them from a distance. Death by correspondence, feeling distant fondness. Death by correspondence, waiting my chair is breaking under my back. Wheels keep getting caught on the mat. Death by correspondence, feeling distant fondness. Death by correspondence, waiting on my conscience. Necessary monsters, feeling distant fondness. Bursting my blood vessel, lying Comet Central.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Zoom Zoom by Oakie Doke from the new album Death by Correspondence. That is a fantastic track. Jack, one of my favourite things about you is, even though you are quite a conventionally talented musician and composer, a lot of the stuff that you do, yes, you very much... I don't know about if pushing the boundaries is the right word, but there's no standard way for you to play guitar. You're just like whacking a string while doing weird bendy sounds, and I'm constantly, having recorded about 80 albums with you, and then listening back, sometimes it's kind of mind-blowing, the use of the way you play the guitar, or the way you just like hitting these effects pedals in certain orders and just making your guitar sound like weird synthesizer or something like that. It's very, very unconventional, very inspiring actually, because a lot of people, as they get older and they develop better skills or whatever, they move more towards a conventional, conservative way of writing music. From my point of view, you seem to go the opposite direction. You seem to get crazier and crazier all the time, which is fantastic. And I think that song is a good example of that. You've got a bit of the kind of classic songwriting with a bunch of really crazy stuff in there as well.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, I could totally throw the same back at you, I reckon. I love listening back to the dual guitar Wollongong tracks. It's always such a trip. Yeah, like funnily enough, talking about the guitar on that track, that was recorded by what I call my Aldi caster, which of course is the guitar I bought from Aldi, from freaking Aldi. It's look, it's really just like a piece of junk. However, I've really taken such a liking to it. It's a 10-tone guitar, so it's in like microtonal tuning, but like as far as like deliberate, choices go for like tuning and stuff, it is just like when you hear of those broths in like in like Thailand or whatever, it's just like a bowl of soup that's been cooking for like thousands of years and stuff like that. Bear with me, this is a weird segue, but you know what I mean? There's like those bowls where they haven't cleaned it out in like 1,000 years. Yeah.
So a chef always, the flavor of a chef comes from that spoon they've been using.
Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's the same deal here, where this guitar I've had for like quite a while. It's been bashed around. It's fallen over. It's like it's moved with me. It's moved house, I think, like 2 or 3 times in the past like 3 years or so. And I have never tuned the thing. Never in my life. All of the pitching that you're hearing is just from my fingers. It's just from pulling the strings to whatever pitch I want and recording it. So, yeah.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
Oh, I'm 100% serious. I'm 150% serious. I could not tell you what I tuned the strings to. I just can tell you that that's what came out. So
that's fantastic, and that I've got a few questions to do with that actually. So first I'll just say that it reminds me of seeing one of my favorite guitarists, Steve Vai. So Steve Vai, incredibly creative guitarist, but kind of opposite to you. The older he gets, he kind of starts to get a bit more boring and stale. But he's one of my favorite guitarists of all time, and I was watching him at a Zappa Does Zappa show. And if you know anything about floating bridges on a guitar, they are ultra sensitive, and when you tune one string, the tuning of all the other strings get changed. And so what happened, Steve Vai stepped out to do his guitar solo, and one of his strings just snapped at the start of his guitar solo. So his whole guitar was out of tune. And it was one of the greatest guitar solos I've ever heard.
Wonderful.
Because this guy is absolutely brilliant, and he's just put in the spot on the spot, and it was just whammy bar supreme all the way through. It was just amazing.
Unreal. See, he can do that. He's a disciple of Frank. Lots of people forget that about Steve. They listen to Steve and they don't realize, because it's not obvious that there's meant to be a lot of humor in there.
Yeah.
But it's all Frank Zappa. Like it's all that kind of ironisms, and he's real good. But there is a sense of self-awareness when he's standing with a fan blowing his hair back. It's all people don't know that.
He's a surprisingly humble guy. You think he'd be up himself.
Yeah. I will defend Stephen until death. I reckon he's a good bloke.
Me too. Okay, so another question I have, about microtonal music, chords. How do you go together? How do you go about putting together chordal structures and chords for a song? To me, that again, that's another world that I just don't know about.
Well, it's sort of like a lot of people do it differently, but for me, it's just my ear. So if I hear something and it sounds cool, then that's great. But it's like because the sort of you would understand this as a guitarist, right? You have those well-worn shapes like G, D, power chords, all that stuff. Well, the microtones kind of throw it out the window. So the same kind of shapes yield completely different sonic results. So I think microtones really just reward throwing everything out, just having at it and trusting your ear, trusting the process.
Awesome. All right, I want to jump into one more thing before we get to our next song.
Yep.
And that is, now this might be surprising. We have kind of touched on this briefly. The course that you completed last year, am I right to call it music therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a Masters of Music Therapy.
So if anyone knows Jack's music as well as me, you would possibly, in a way, be shocked to think that Jack may move towards music therapy, as when I listen to Jack's music, it's quite the opposite of therapeutic. It's challenging, and I mean that in a very good way. Sometimes for me, challenging music is the most therapeutic. But yeah, I would love for you to just give us a rundown of what that actually is and what it involves.
Yeah, so music therapy is an evidence-based therapy modality in which you can use music for non-musical goals. So, for instance, in like aged care, you might use music to kind of stimulate conversation, stimulate socialization, and music kind of has that power, even when something like dementia can kind of take hold of your life in such a horrible way. Music can kind of bring back these moments of lucidity, and you can also use it for various other things, like with a newborn baby who's having like heart regulation issues. You can sort of make a piece, like play some music that's following the heartbeat, and then like slow it down, or bring it to a more acceptable speed. So it has all these wonderful properties that. And even ones that we just know about already, right? Like music and community. Music is a fantastic way for people to share songs and create a sense of community, or just a way for people to relate to one another, I guess. So music therapy kind of seemed a no-brainer to go and study that. And since then, I've mostly been working with kids and teenagers, and playing a heck of a lot of Wiggles and Shrek. Let me tell you, Shrek is just as popular as he was back in 2003 or 2001.
But you would enjoy that. There's a lot of who's the band? Smash Mouth. Yeah, you're a big Smash Mouth fan. So
yeah, I'm a Smash head. I'm a freaking Smash head. What can I say?
All right. Well, yeah. That's a fascinating subject that we probably deserves a whole episode.
Oh yeah, it's hard to condense, but yeah.
Music is, anyone who has even thought about the power of a soundtrack to a film should have some basic understanding of how far you can take just the way music is able to basically control your emotions. And
absolutely. Almost a bit scary at times, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Fantastic. All right, well, let's keep the tunes rolling. I am super excited to get into this next song.
Yes. We talked about Sonic Worlds earlier with microtones. Well, get ready for the world of Sonic. Because here we are with Sonic Adventure Battle 2.
Boom. What's the actual song called?
It's called Escape from the City. That's the name of the song. Yeah.
And the song's called Escape from the City. Boom.
Boom.
the City (brackets City Escape) from Sonic Adventure 2. We're not sure who wrote this. We think it's Ted Pooley or Tony Harnell or quite possibly Roy Klompmaker.
I really want it to be Roy Klompmaker. I don't know about you, but he's got the best name out of everyone.
It does sound like a Klompmaker kind of song to me.
Yeah, that's got that trademark Klompmaker Klomp.
I have very mixed feelings about this song, Jack.
Yeah?
There's
in, like, loving it and then like
a
being
little
in
bit.
love with it.
I want to say that I really, really hate it, but there's
You could say that.
But at the same time, there's a part of me, and this kind of probably links back to the power of music. There's a part of me on the inside that kind of starts jigging along and getting into the groove of the song. It's a very...
it's polarizing.
It's a very easy song as far as the melodies and stuff goes, but yeah, I find it very hard to enjoy any of the Sonic songs that have vocals in it.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of more appropriate Sonic music, like Green Hill Zone, fantastic, you know. There's a bunch of stuff, but I want to pick this one because did you ever play Sonic Adventure Battle 2?
I've only played, like the first 3 original Sonic games. I don't think I've played anything else.
Because a lot of people have some very like strong opinions about, the 3D Sonic games. In my opinion, my humble opinion, as an old Sonic fan, one of the veterans, you could say, a veteran Sonic head, is I reckon it was one of the best 3D Sonics that came out. It's a very controversial franchise. There's been lots of bad games released, but there was nothing quite like loading this up on the GameCube, getting ready, like opening scene, you're like running away from this big like robot thingy, and this song is playing. It's good. I think
Dr. Robotnik.
No, I don't think you encounter him for a while in that game, but yeah, you just sort of it really, I don't know, it's not good, but it captures the energy of the time really well.
It's not good, but it kind of captures the idea of what good could be.
Correct.
Yeah. You've sold me. I'm going to go buy the game straight away.
Yeah, gotta do it. No, just download the ROM. It's easier.
Did you ever see the Sonic movie that came out a year or two ago?
No, I didn't. But I want to. Did you see it?
No, I just saw lots of trailers and like memes and GIFs using that extremely ugly Sonic face they did on their first render or whatever.
Yeah, they did I can't believe they did that and then changed it later. It almost seems like that was the goal all along. Like they made a really bad Sonic to kind of rile up the fan base and then fixed it. Maybe they just made a trailer of that. I don't know. Raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit too clever.
Yeah, this is Sonic we're talking about. It's so clever you can be.
And a Sonic movie at that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, let's move to some more video game music. But up next, we have a song that you've recently released. This is a cover song, and this is quite interesting. I've never played this game. It looks kind of like a nightmare. Yeah. But if you could introduce us to maybe the game and the song, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about your version in more detail.
Yeah, you're totally right. It looks like an absolute nightmare. I think I read this on a YouTube comment, and I think it encapsulates it quite well. The creator of this game,
Cruelty Squad.
Yes, sorry, yes, it's this is Cruelty Squad we're talking about, and I'm gonna say the guy's name wrong. What is it? Ville Calio? I'm not great with names. I'm the first to admit that. But he created this game essentially to look like a very, very dodgy, haphazard kind of game from maybe 2005. It looks a bit like a Quake mod of some sort, but it's actually a very cleverly disguised, very good kind of I guess what's the word, like I'm not good with these gaming genres, but it's like a tactical shooter, I guess. You know, there's lots of hiding, there's lots of like, you know, power ups and things. Yeah, it's excellent. So I heard this song on one of the levels, Idiot Party, and I thought the music's great in this, but this is probably the most coverable, probably most beautiful piece of music I've heard. So, and I don't know, it really stood out to me because every other track is very aggressive, loud, very kind of tough on the ears, but this is a very nice piano piece. So I did a little cover. Enjoy.
Sweet. We'll give it a listen, and we'll put a link in the description. You can watch the official Oakie Doke film clip with all the instruments on the screen. All right, let's give it a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Oakie Doke version of Idiot Party from the game Cruelty Squad. And I'm watching the film clip as I listen to this, and it's very interesting. You've got Mr. Oakie himself scraping bits of wood along guitars. There's double bass in there, some synthesizers, all kinds of fun things. I'd love to know, Jack, how you... Yeah. I've never heard the original version, so I don't know how different this is. I imagine that you've been a little bit experimental with your instrument choices and stuff.
Yeah, just a little bit. So the original track was made using an old DAW. I don't know if you know this, Joel. Heard of this? It's called LMMS, aka Linux Multimedia Studio. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, it's freeware. It's really great for making this sort of like kind of creepy, 2005 era RuneScape sort of sounds.
So the actual DAW has a lot of these sounds built in.
Yeah. It's freeware from way back for Linux, and weirdly, I used to use it back in 2010. I made all these weird songs with it, and then so it's kind of funny that this guy
back when you used to make weird songs.
Yeah, back way back when. But yeah, so I sort of just did my own interpretation. This is a weird thing, but I really want to plug this VST. It's called it's by Sample Science, and it's called Northern Borders by Sample Science. It's fantastic. It kind of has all of these inbuilt like ambient sounds, like that's the wind that you hear in the second verse, and it's loosely based off of the lovely Canadian band Boards of Canada. Very good band.
All right. Yeah. Definitely. Everyone. I mean, you just heard the song, so, but I still recommend watching the film clip. It's to see and experience the sounds of Oakie Doke's cover, and also, just to boost the algorithm numbers.
Yeah, please. How do people do it? I don't know. I don't trust YouTube anymore.
Well, on Spotify, I just put my song on repeat when I go to sleep, and then.
Oh, that is so smart. That is so smart. I need to get into that. I need to do that. I mean, that's the whole idea with this Towns thing, right? All these people will play all these songs, and I'll get rich the next day, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah, you mean every town should become your fan.
Yeah, ideally, except for Barry.
You've got a Patreon going at the moment. Why don't you do a quick plug for that and explain?
I would love to plug my Patreon.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I honestly would have forgotten. I'm kind of new to the Patreon thing, but it's going fantastically thus far. It's patreon.com/Oakie Doke, and you can sort of hear advanced releases of stuff I'm doing. You can vote in polls. You can hear like tutorial videos of Basil's Kite songs. Basically, it's very cheap. You could sort of pay like the same amount for a monthly coffee. Isn't that the usual selling point? People say it's the price of a coffee. It is the price of a freaking coffee, but you get to support a creator like me, and I am very appreciative and humbled by the support I've received thus far. So if you're already a supporter, thank you so much.
Get on there, folks. I think I might even do the same thing myself.
Oh, gee whiz. Oh, golly.
You can hold me accountable to that now. All right. Up next, we have another one of your video game music selections. Mm-hmm. And again, I checked out this game, and I checked out the song after you sent it to me. Very interesting. Do you want to just bring us into this?
I love Bloodborne. Essentially, that was my thought process. I just love this game, and I picked this song. It's a very epic chorals, like massive strings section, very evil sounding. I think you're fighting some gigantic monster. And best of all, much like the Persona thing, there's a video of them all singing, recording it live. It blows you away. It's fantastic. I love nothing more than watching a choir of about like 100 to 150 people all singing this like hideous atonal stuff. It's great. It sounds epic. It blows you away. Enjoy.
Before we start the song, I looked at it, and I listened to the song via YouTube, and the comments. A very common comment is, "Oh, this is what it sounds like without the screaming, the constant screaming."
Yeah.
And so I looked up the actual battle.
Yeah.
And my goodness, this boss is just. It sounds like someone's just tortured a horse and then basically mutilated the sound of it into all these different pitched screams and stuff.
Yeah, it's hideous. And the worst thing is like many of these Soulsborne kind of difficult, difficult games where you have to die a lot. You just hear it so much. Like it gets so caked into your brain. But yeah, screaming aside, it's a very good song and not a bad thing to have caked into your brain, in my opinion.
All right, let's give it a listen. This is Cleric Beast from Bloodborne.
You.
ladies and gentlemen, that was Cleric Beast from Bloodborne. Not 100% sure who the composer is. We think it's Tsukasa Saito, but I'll definitely find out who it is and put it in the description below. Absolutely epic song. You're saying there's a clip of a big choir. You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a heavy game. There's no happiness. I like games where there's happiness at the end.
Yeah.
There's definitely no happiness in this though.
Yeah. Seeing just the little segment that I saw, this is definitely not the game that I would play.
No, you never played any of the Dark Souls franchise or things like that?
They look like I'm a Christian, right? So these games are
they look very unchristian, don't they?
They're like an expression of hellish torment in a video game, and
a very clever expression, but still very
brilliantly done.
Yeah.
But
very full on.
Not something that I kind of want to soak up.
That's fair. I did love Bloodborne though, because it's one of those games where you're thrown in the deep end and you're very bad, but then you can just grind. You can just kill all the low level enemies, and then you can make your character more powerful. And that's how I got through the game. It's good. I like it when I can sort of break the system in that way.
Well, we are now up to the final Oakie Doke song that we'll be playing on this episode. This is, I think, the perfect song to follow Cleric Beast, because this is also a very epic and
foreboding.
Evil. Yeah. I'm just more referring just to the power of the sound. That's all.
Yeah.
And you very well could have an entire orchestra singing this. This is probably one of the more
good.
This is quite operatic.
Yes, it is. I really went for it, and hey, that's why it's the last track on the album. This is like, I think I'd like to take credit for the duologue song in these times, and that's on record now. That I think Mr. Michael Manzini kind of wrote that from this, but yeah, this was the last track. It's really fun, and I think this is a really weird reference, but without Circle of Life from Lion King, this song would not exist. This song absolutely would not exist, because it uses the exact same kind of what's the word, like key change technique that Circle of Life does.
Yeah, right at the end there when that chorus comes back in, or whatever, the verse or whatever. Yeah. So it every time it repeats, it modulates up a half step. Yeah, I'm super stoked you picked it, because this is one of my favorite tracks off the album too. Michael Manzini did a bang up job with the bang up job means good job, right? I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he did. I just need to check. He did a bang up job with the drums on this. He did some really great harmonies. The mix sounds amazing. Enjoy. I'm very happy with this one.
There's quite a few different sounds. Like the first section has its own sound. Then you've got this kind of bridge section, which I think kind of sounds like video game music, to be honest. And it's quite an epic build-up. And then, back to that vocal section again. Folks, you're really going to love this one. This is The Times by Oakie Doke.
These are the times that you will remember. These are the days that you'll take to your grave. These are the moments you can't get back. No, you'll never get those moments back. These are the times that you will lament. These are the hours that you will soon forget. These are the demons
Was the Times by Oakie Doke from their latest album, Death by Correspondence, which you most certainly can get on Bandcamp at this point. Is it going to be available elsewhere?
It'll be available on all of the streaming services. That's right, every single one, even Napster, Deezer, all these random ones that DistroKid messages you about and says that it's live, and you're like, cool, I guess. So yeah, maybe Snapchat too? I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know what these kids are using these days.
TikTok.
Yeah, the old TikTok.
Yeah, I gotta say that is a fantastic song that goes so many different places. The lyrics are any lyrics about time, the passing of time. I think for me at least, really is like a slap in the face, and like your life is just disappearing as you know, as we sit here recording this podcast. These are the moments that we'll never get back. But these are the moments that we will cherish and remember forever.
That's true. On that, Zini said he'd quit his job because of this song. I don't know if that's a positive life thing or a negative life thing, or if he just would have quit his job anyway. But hey, there's that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to quit your job and you hear that song, do it. Probably a good idea. Hey, if a song on a podcast makes you want to quit your job, then that's probably on you.
That's music therapy right there.
And that is music therapy. Thank you.
No, that's great. I think there's a certain humor to the lyrics and sarcasm, but at the same time, they're quite powerful at the same as well.
Yeah, cheers.
But so that basically brings us to the end of the episode.
Aww.
Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh man. Can't we go another hour? Come on.
We could, but I'm pretty sure you've promised all your
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I got to be live on stream soon.
Yeah, the next 20 towns need songs.
Oh yeah, they do. They're not going to write themselves.
Speaking of towns, so our band.
That's a really good segue. You're a professional.
Our band, Wollongong, which we really haven't done much with for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't think anyone's had any official conversation about this, but right now I am announcing that Wollongong is moving all of its currently 88 albums, not just on Bandcamp, but again, we're going to Deezer, we're going to Napster, we're going to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play Music,
LimeWire,
TikTok,
Bearshare,
Teddy Bear Share as well. Yeah,
Bearshare might have been a bit of a deep cut. That's like from 2002 or something. That was a long time ago. That's one of the LimeWire. Soulseek? Soulseek?
Soulseek it sounds like a dating app.
Oh yeah, I remember Soulseek. That's right. Kazaa,
that's what I was trying to think of, but I couldn't think of it.
All of them. It's going to be on all of them.
It's going to be on all of them. I think at this stage what we're going to do is maybe periodically, like every week or two, release one of the newest albums and one of the oldest albums and work our way to the middle. And, if anything new gets created, it'll pop up as well. So, there's a lot of music to listen to.
There's a lot.
I gotta say, I've had some of my most enjoyable times playing music in Wollongong, whether it's a bunch of guys just writing music for themselves in a studio or, taking song suggestions from an audience and turning them into songs. There's a lot of great stuff, and we had to close out with a Wollongong song. And
before we close out, may I just interject? So,
please.
I want to share, speaking of the live kind of interjection thing, my favorite all-time Wollongong moment, and I remember this so clearly because of the way it sort of emotionally affected me. So, we were doing one of 3 live gigs in the mall, which were a real mixed bag, if Joel remembers. Mixed bag.
This is the big shopping mall in the middle of our town, Wollongong. And in case people don't know, Wollongong is basically the town where we live. At least we're all living in Wollongong at the point when we started this band So yeah, Wollongong, playing in the center of Wollongong.
Right there, right in the middle. You know, like we had a few days where people would disgruntled shop owners would come up and say, "Can you please stop that noise? It sounds bad. People don't want to buy things." Just general like compliments like that. But there was this one particular day where we just said, "Hey, anyone walking past? Do you want to come play an instrument?" And then who gets up but a man by the name of Matt? I think his name
It wasn't Darren or something, was it? Or...
No, I'm almost certain it was Matt.
Yeah.
But again, you can it's all there on the Bandcamp. But yeah, Matt came up and Matt was shaking. Matt was about, I don't know, 40 something, and his kids was there, his wife was there. No one looked happy that he volunteered to come up. his wife at the time. And none of them looked happy for their poor old dad, which was a little bit sad. But Matt came up and he played some like kind of like pretty stiff drums, but you know, like who can blame him? Because apparently he hadn't played since high school. So he just came up, he saw the opportunity, he played his song. It was, I forget, oh, actually, no, I remember what it is, but it's weird that I remember what the song was. But he did his thing. He walked off. He was shaking. And then as he was leaving the stage, he turned to us and with shaking hands and adoration in his eyes, he said, "Boys, that was freaking awesome. Thank you." And then he left the stage to resounding nothing from his family. But I tell you what, Matt, I remember you to this day. I hold you deep in my heart as one of the most special moments of the band Wollongong. So thank you for your sound donation.
Amazing. And that was from one of the Crown Street. Oh,
yeah.
I wish I knew what that song was straight off the top of my head. Oh, no, Tim plays drums.
Tim. Oh, Tim. Sorry. Not Matt. Tim. It's Tim. Tim plays drums.
All right.
And you can even hear him at the end. You can hear him say "Thanks, boys" or whatever. It's great. It's all there.
Well, I'd already picked an outro song to play, but seeing as this is my podcast and I make up the rules, we're going to outro with two songs. We're going to start with Tim plays the drums because it's only like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then following that, we're going to play, because this is a video game music podcast, we're going to play the track called Arcade, which is from the 2016 album AJ.
Good track.
Named after Main Street Studios' Adam Jordan.
I was going to say Andrew Jackson. Oh, God. That's just what I think when I say AJ. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, again, when we play, it's just improvised. And, you know, often one of us will play a riff for 9 minutes. And that was Arcade. It got stuck in our heads afterwards.
It's hard to move on from a good riff, you know?
It is, yeah. So, yeah, all right, Jack, Oakie Doke, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Joel /Voltz. It has been a really wonderful time, and I look forward to making some more music with Wollongong, or you know, potentially even doing a whole thing just about the band Wollongong, because you know, heck knows there's a lot to talk about here. So
yeah, well, we're coming up to our 10th anniversary, so there's a good opportunity.
I don't even remember. I think it's this year.
It's next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Basil's Kite 10-year anniversary was interrupted, so that's not happening anymore. But the Wollongong anniversary can go on.
Yes. So, all right, yep, thanks once again. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out all the links in our description to find out more and listen to more, experience more of the magic that is Oakie Doke.
Thank you very much.
All right, stay synthetic.
All right, we've got a sound donor. You want to actually play the drums? Okay. Now you really know this is improvised. Because a strange man from the crowd is now playing with us. What is your name? Tim. Tim is now part of Wollongong. here I am on a Thursday night with only 2 hours left until I have to get home. I've got to get enough coupons to get that teddy bear. I've got to get enough to get that teddy bear. Here I am on a Thursday night collecting coupons at the arcade. I need enough to get that teddy bear. Here I am. They said I couldn't do it. Beat the top score. Beat the top score. Beat the top score. Yeah. That teddy bear. It's got to be mine. Yeah. Top score. That's right. I've been keeping my fingers extra nimble to get the coupons. Gotta get that teddy bear. Gotta get that teddy bear. Get that. Get that teddy. Here I am on a Thursday night collecting coupons. I'm doing alright. Got a lot in my pocket, got a lot in my bag. I got 48 left to get that teddy bear. Teddy bear. I think I better stay in the arcade tonight. So here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. I'm doing alright tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. I'm doing alright tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Having a lot of fun tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. Here are the things I like to do. One of them is playing with you. Yeah. Gonna get the teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Get that teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. Get that teddy bear. Yeah. Doing all the things I like to do. I'm in the arcade, playing all the games I like to play. Getting all the things I like to do. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Play. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. Yeah, I'm in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. I'm in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. I'm in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. I'm in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get that teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade on a late Thursday night. Still half an hour to my curfew, and I haven't got that teddy bear. Only 12 more coupons left, but I'm running out of money. Heck, I could have bought that thing at the shop. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get the teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get the teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get the teddy bear tonight. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah. Gonna get the teddy bear tonight. 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 Get it. Here I am in the arcade, doing all the things I like to do. Yeah.